Hey everyone, I'm Samak Agarkar and welcome to Agarkar Media Academy after a very long time actually. So today we are going to talk about something that we have not talked yet about on this YouTube channel, and that is these emerging AI technologies and their effects on IT sector jobs. So we are all aware of these emerging AI technologies, be it ChatGPT, be it DALL-E, be it Midjourney AI, be it Leonardo AI, be it Adobe Firefly, be it Google's Bard, and other of course companies will follow along with their known AI technologies, which is going to disrupt all the existing jobs. So we're going to talk about that and what are their effects on IT sector jobs all over the world. So this is something all the even the creators of these AI technologies are even discussing, and it's a burning question whether these AI technologies should be even developed, and what are going to be the effects, and how we can even overcome these effects of AI technologies. So before diving into that, let's talk about these technologies and how they work. So all these technologies, these new AI technologies are based off of something called as machine learning and deep neural networks. So deep neural networks is part of machine learning, but deep neural networks is what is the basis of all these new technologies. So deep neural network, as the name suggests, it's a neural network. So it replicates, in a programmatic terms, it replicates how a human brain can work. Okay, so when we say deep neural network is the basis and foundation of all these ChatGPTs and Midjourneys of the world, we can very much say that these AI technologies are very much related to how a human brain can even function. So their functionality is very similar to how a human brain might process the data. So in that terms, it is very much related to a human brain itself. So it's very interesting to note here that these new AI technologies are very much similar to how a human brain functions. It can learn. Okay, these machine algorithms or machine learning algorithms can actually learn. That's why they are called as machine learning algorithms, because they can learn from the input that is being given to it. So in that terms, we can say that we are actually developing a human brain when we are developing these ChatGPTs and Midjourneys of the world. So in that terms, you can see that a human brain is basically very much replaceable, not physically, but at least virtually it can be replaced. So if you look at how a ChatGPT works, if you give it an input, it will just put out some text for you. It can be a blog, it can be suggestions, it can be new ideas, it can be sometimes wrong factuals, but again facts, as well as it can even give out the code of the programming languages that you are looking at. So for developers as well, it is very difficult to maneuver in this very emerging field, because ChatGPT in itself can write down the code in any programming language that you want. You just have to give it an input of the problem statement, and it will just spit out lines and lines of code in a proper format, along with all the files and all the installables that you need for that. Again, there might be some errors. You can just rectify all these errors and you're good to go. So in that sense, you can see all the developers and emerging developers, aspiring developers of the world, they have to understand how these ChatGPTs and Midjourneys can work. Okay, let's take an example of Midjourney and again DALL-E as well. DALL-E is one of the software for text to image generation by OpenAI, the same company that created ChatGPT. So there's DALL-E, there's Midjourney, there's I think Leonardo AI, there's other Adobe Firefly is one of them, and Stable Diffusion is what the basis of all these algorithms, all these AI technologies. That's a Stable Diffusion. Okay, so we'll talk about all these technologies later on, but right now just take an example of Midjourney or DALL-E. You just give it a text input, and from the text input it understands what should be the image. It puts out an image with respect to what the input has been given to you. So so if you give it an input of horse riding on the moon, it will just spit out a few images with horse riding on the moon. And it's really very what do we say, it's very creative in its sense, because every time it creates something different. Okay, so it is not going to just copy paste some function. So if you look at what Google search engine used to do, or even does right now, it just spits out the exact thing from the image, from the web. It searches for the exact thing that you're looking for, and it just pastes it on it just pastes it on your screen. But these new AI technologies, be it ChatGPT or Midjourneys, these are not going to spit out the exact same thing every time. They are going to spit out something different, something creative every time you run them. So for the same text input, there will be always a different output for all the same text input. So that is how ChatGPT works. For an image based generations, for same text, the Midjourneys and the Dalis and the Leonardo AIs of the world will spit out different images every time you try to generate an image from a prompt. So in that terms, it is very creative, and we can say somewhere down the line they are actually creative. They are going to kill up all the jobs. Okay, so now let's understand how these are going to kill up the jobs. For graphic designers, look at the things. Midjourney AI, Leonardo AI, DALL-E, this can directly compete your thinking power, because if as a company, okay, let's look at in the perspective of a company. If a company wants 10 iterations or 10 different images for a input that is being given by the client, okay, it will have to either one graphic designer will have to create 10 different images, which will take time, or the company will have to hire 10 different graphic designers to create 10 different graphics or images, right? So that will take time as well as resources. But here now in in Midjourneys and the text to image based generation softwares, a company can directly come up to 10 graphics just one click. Maybe in 1 to 2 minutes, all these 10 images are ready from the prompt. So that is a direct competition to what a human brain can function, to what a human brain can do in an IT sector. So graphic designer jobs gone. Let's talk about developers. ChatGPT can spit out the code directly from the input statement given to it. If you have a problem statement, just write it down in the ChatGPT and say solve this problem in, let's say, Java programming language. It will actually spit out the exact code that is required to solve the problem. There might be some errors, but you can of course resolve the errors very easily from the ChatGPT itself. But it just spits out all the lines and lines of code of Java for you. So it can be any programming language. You just have to in the prompt itself, you just have to specify which programming language you want the code in, and the ChatGPT will spit out the code in the exact programming language that you want. So the work of developers, programmers, gone. So in this sense, you can understand that these ChatGPTs, all these new AI functions and technologies are actually going to kill up all the jobs in the next 5 to 10 years. And we are already seeing some effects of these new AI features or all these new AI softwares in the IT sector. The reason of the layoffs that you're seeing right now in IT sector is not just because of the financial conditions of company. Financial conditions of the company is just one part of it, but they are also seeing, all these companies are also saying, that majority of the work that required a huge labor force or a huge workforce to do the job now can be done very easily. You just need to subscribe to any of these AI tools and you are just good to go. So in that terms, you can see that majority of the jobs, majority of the repetitive and some creative jobs are going to be taken up by AI, and that is a short guarantee in the long run. In next to 5 to 10 years, you'll see that majority of the repetitive jobs will be taken up by AI. So this is an AI, this is a academy, right? We are in Media Academy. How do we look at it? If all the jobs are going to be taken up by AI, why do we even teach, why is the need of even the academy to exist? Why is the need for us to teach coding, and why? Why? We're just doomed, right? Actually yes, and actually no. So yes, because again, as I've said, the repetitive jobs are going to be taken up, but it will also open up a new set of jobs which will require even more thinking, even more creativity, even more hard work, even more core understanding of the concepts. Do understand, as I've already mentioned, ChatGPT can spit out code for whatever programming language you require. You just have to give it a prompt and it will just give out the code. But majority of the times, not always, but many of the times, there is some error. So it makes some logical errors. It makes some some errors which you cannot just foresee. a computer cannot foresee some errors, so it makes some errors which can only be solved by a human brain, at least at this point of time. Okay, so at that conditions, you require someone who is overlooking, as a parent maybe, who is overlooking at ChatGPT and thinking and taking the decision of what change needs to be done in the code, so that we reach to the problem statement, or we reach to the we solve the problem statement that is being given to us. So at that point of time, you will require a human brain who is even more creative than even the ChatGPTs and Midjourneys of the world. So in that terms, it is very much required that you even even focus even more on your skills on coding, be it not just coding but also in graphics or whatever skill that you are learning right now. It is even more important right now to focus on your skills and go as much deep and as much broad onto all the topics of your field, so that you understand more than even the ChatGPTs and the Midjourneys of the world. So again, I'm not saying that you will be faster than ChatGPTs and Midjourneys, because these AI tools are made such that they will be faster than human beings, but these tools can be used. Again, at the end, these are tools, so these tools need a required to be used by a human brain, right? So these tools, if you want to understand and if you want to use them as a supplementary to your whatever adventure that you are doing, so or the venture that you are doing, so that will require even more hard work and even more skills and even more creativity. So this is the time where you upgrade your skills even more. All the machine learning stuff jobs are going to increase, all the data analytics jobs are going to increase, all the creative thinking jobs are going to increase in contemporary to what you might think. Because at this point of time, if the easier jobs are being done by AI, there will be a requirement, there will be a gap of jobs which are complex, which a computer cannot understand, at least at this point of time. So for creating those AIs as well, you will require some jobs which are even more creative than these creative AI tools. So it is that's just an encouragement for us to to upgrade our skills and to understand that we are not going to be taken over completely by AI as of now, at least. And maybe that's just a distant future. Maybe 2050 will be taken up by AI, and the Terminators will be ruling the world, and we'll just be the slaves of these robots. But that's a long shot, right? That's a long shot. Right now, what we can see is ChatGPTs, Midjourneys, DALL-Es, Google Bards, Adobe Fireflies. These are still tools. They can take up majority of the repetitive jobs, but they are also creating new jobs which can where there's a requirement of people who are even more creative, even more knowledgeable and in depth with the field, and they can understand and utilize these tools to solve even more complex problems. So that is how it is actually going to be. So yeah, jobs are going in one terms, but also new jobs are being created in another terms. So right now you're not fighting with other people. That's how you need to look at it. You are not competing with your friends. You're not competing with someone in IIT or MIT or Stanford or Oxford. You're not competing with them. You are competing directly with these new AI tools, be it ChatGPT, Midjourney and stuff like that. You are competing these tools, not your friends, not any professors, not any scientists, nothing. You are just directly competing these new tools. So just work accordingly. Just have this in your back of the mind that you are what your competition exactly is. Just upgrade yourself, and maybe you'll be securing some newer jobs, some newer job profiles that you can see. Yeah, I've heard something of prompt engineer. So there's a new, maybe a job that's coming up, something called as a prompt engineer. Prompt engineer is someone who understands what prompts needs to be given to ChatGPT so that the ChatGPT can solve the problem. So that's a completely new role, as if I can see, which might be created. We don't know. Maybe ChatGPT will also create prompt engineer jobs. We don't know. Maybe ChatGPT will itself do all the prompts by itself. We don't know. But at this point of time, you can upgrade your skills and you can get started with new era of humanity. That's how at least I look at it. So that's a new era. Yeah, it's a new era. Thank you so much. We'll be, yeah, of course, talking about some other stuff as well in the future, and hopefully, you'll be learning something more about machine learning, AI, deep learning, and other stuff. So we are going to focus on all this stuff. Hopefully, I think you learned something new from this video, and you understood what are the effects of AI on the new IT sectors, and that is it. Okay, thank you so much. See you guys in the next video. Till then, keep smiling and keep learning. Bye.